Rivaling the late 1980s model number 964 was a steady-as-she-goes update of Porsche's cherished 911 Carrera. Yet these days, some say this is the 911 with attitude, and it's gaining interest. Its growling flat-six motor is said to be one of the best air-cooled cars, and in its day it was the most powerful, naturally aspirated 911 ever built. Yet some also said it looked a bit plain. Well, the 964 behind me is not plain. You see, this 911 has been slammed and has become an urban outlaw. I'm Roger Bailey, and we are going to step over the line.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
Few cars from the late 20th century are better appreciated by their owners than the Porsche 911. Thrilling to drive, attainable, and a guarantee of engineering integrity. This iconic car that made its debut back in 1964 has certainly earned its fanatics. By the 1980s it had become not just the driver's car to have, but also the toy of the champagne splashing city boy. So much so that in the 911 model at the moment, variant 964 had gained an undeserved reputation as a symbol of needless excess. But that was then, and today the 964 911 is increasingly recognised as the most desirable of the older versions. And the brilliantly engineered motor car behind that old flash reputation has emerged as an iconic classic in its own right, with prices going up, viable examples getting scarce, and now it's looking increasingly like this might be the right time to invest in one. And many of today's buyers are not just going about driving their investments. Oh no, you see, the Porsche 964 has become the expert's choice as an automotive canvas for expressing individual taste, not only in the way a Porsche should look, but how it should feel and how it should perform. It seems those in the know are gathering up these old cars, not just to restore them, but to add a personal take on that Porsche DNA, to unleash the essence of the 911 air-cooled soul, and in doing so to create a personalised vision. And the example we have here today is the vision of my friend Justin, who undertook a 2-year ground-up rebuild and reimagining of his 964. He embarked upon an inspirational and insightful project, achieving his own remarkable car, which is known as the Baron. Everywhere we look, inside and out, we see thoughtful and unique engineering and styling touches. Justin even designed this cloth trim for himself. And I have to tell you about the spectacular engine, which, well, bear with me because, well, we will fire it up in just a few seconds. For now though, just gazing on this creation, it's clear what we have here is special. Something looking slightly menacing, something to evoke excitement, and that's even before we've turned the key. Dropping inside the rather small cockpit is to enter a previous motoring era. All of your senses become activated. There's a slight smell of old car and hot oil about this. The view down the bonnet and between those high wings is from the traditional Porsche age. The controls feel stiff yet strong. The scattered around switches and dials all feel properly made. Twist the little ignition key and a myriad of sounds fill your head. Gears whirring, exhaust growling, induction roaring, all evoking a flashback to a golden age of motorsport. Press down on the strangely hinging clutch pedal, release the old-fashioned handbrake lever, push the long gear stick over into first, raise that clutch pedal, and it becomes immediate. That's the realization we are indeed driving something rather different. Throttle response is off the charts. The most minute prod of that gas pedal results in instantaneous acceleration all the way up to the red line. Better still, there's no discernible drop in power along the entire rev range, and yes, it goes hard. Yes, very hard. But equally, when you come off the throttle, the revs die immediately. It's all incredibly satisfying. There's no power assistance for the steering, but you'd never say it's heavy in any way. Its feel is perfectly weighted, but also quick and very accurate at the same time. Turning is immediate, grip is tenacious, and agility and feel is unmatched by just about any modern car this side of a Caterham 7, if you can call that modern. This, guys, this is what all 911s should be like. It's the same with the brakes. They're not big stoppers like today's megalathons, but there's no need. The pedal feel and the stopping power is perfectly measured thanks to the car's light weight. In fact, it's the same thing with the entire car. All major controls feel particularly and perfectly natural and totally user-friendly. And that rear-mounted motor packing trick fuel injection and more than 300 brake horsepower causes it to make some glorious sounds. It's the noise of an unrestricted, well-tuned flat six letting rip through a free-flowing exhaust system. The exhaust, the headers, the heat exchangers are by fab speed. There's bigger fuel injectors, free-flowing induction, and I put a ton more detail about this car's build in the video description, and it's worth a read just to get an insight into how this car was put together. Are there any downsides? Well, this is by no means like any modern car. There's little in the way of modern comforts, safety aids or user friendliness, and long journeys in our 964 are a bit of a challenge compared to today's modern 911. Yet let's not forget the Baron was born some 30 years ago. Back in the 1980s, the 964 represented one of the most significant steps forward for Porsche for many years. Some said it looked like a 911 that had just got a mild facelift, but this was because the only real external changes were to those details below the bumper line. Even the interior looked familiar, but beneath the surface lay an altogether new model designed to provide a platform for supporting a whole new generation of 911 models well into the future. Who would have known back in the 1980s or even the early 2000s for that matter, the platform was so good enthusiasts and restoration companies would be coveting the 964 like no other. And in the 2020s, it would become the model of choice to best define that glorious 911 essence, that it would be the only Porsche of choice for mindful engineers and artisans to reimagine and restore what many believe to be the true Porsche 911 soul.
Find yourself a stock 964 and you will have a truly usable day-to-day proposition while still retaining that classic 911 aesthetic and that prized dynamic engagement. However, if you want to take a walk on the wild side, you could follow my friend Justin's lead and create your very own Porsche 911 964 Urban Outlaw. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and comments are always welcomed. I will read every single one and I'll reply to most. And if you haven't already, why not think about subscribing? And if you hit this little notification bell, I'll send you another video.
When the sun rises, when the sun